everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is Sewing Saturday. I'm going to be showing you how I transformed these old joggers into a corset crop top. And if you want to create your own corset crop top, I've made my own pattern which I've put in the link in the description so you can sew along and use this video as a guide. You don't have to use old clothes to make this crop top. You can use whatever fabric you like. I'm only using these joggers because they're slightly damaged and I want to give them a new lease of life. So keep watching and sew along to make your own crop top.
You will need a sewing machine, ribbon, pins, scissors, my pattern from the link in the description, and some fabric. So firstly, cut out my pattern, and the solid lines will be the cutout lines and the dotted lines are the seam allowances. Number 8 and 9 pattern piece actually have to be taped together. So just put the tape arrows together so that they're touching and then tape in the middle. These pieces should be taped next to each other and not overlapping. And this is what it should look like. Next, I'm going to unpick a couple of seams of the joggers just to create one flat piece and to make it easier for me to cut the pattern pieces out. I want to use the Adidas logo as a main feature, so I've decided to use number 1 and put it there. Next, pin all of your pattern pieces to your fabric. It doesn't matter what order you do this in as long as you give yourself enough space to put them all on. When you're printing out your pattern pieces, make sure that they're all on A4 pieces, and it should say on each piece how many you want to cut of each one. They're mainly cut 1, but the number 8 and number 9 pieces should be cut 4 of each. This is when they're taped together as one long piece. And then you want to cut each piece out, and I always find it easy to keep the pattern pieces on just so you know which number is which, and this will really help you out. Also, you can change the pattern slightly to fit you. I'm like an 8 or a 10, so this is made perfectly for my body. And the seam allowances of each pattern piece is 1 centimetre. And here is all your pattern pieces cut out. Firstly, we're going to take number 1 and number 2. Take number 2 and put it on the right edge of number 1. Pin in place, then we're going to sew along this line. I set my stitch length between 3 and 4. I'm going to use the 1 centimetre line as my guide and then just sew along. And this is how it should be looking so far. Next, take piece number 3 and put it on the right edge of number 2, right size facing. And then do the same using the 1 centimetre line as a guide. Then get piece number 4, right side on the right edge, and then sew along again using the 1 centimetre line. So this is how this side should be looking so far, and then repeat all of these steps to do the left hand side, and this is how it should be looking so far. You can iron open the seams. I don't, but it depends on what fabric you have. Then I'm going to cut any little rogue bits of fabric off just to create like a seamless look. This just really helps to maintain the shape. Turn over your top, and then we're going to fold the top bit down by about 1 centimetre, and also we're going to want to do this to the bottom as well. And when you're sewing, try and make sure the seams are open. So I'm just setting up the fold just so it keeps it in place. Use the width of your sewing foot as your guide, and then just sew around the top part. Then I went over it again using a stitch closer to the edge. Next, grab number 8 and 9, and you should have 4 of these. Put 2 together right size facing, pin and sew 2 edges, again using the 1 centimetre line, and this is how they should look. Next, grab a safety pin, poke one side of the fabric through the safety pin and close it, and then push the safety pin through the fabric just so that it folds over to the other side. And here's how that should look. Repeat for the other strap. Line up the edge of your strap using the right seam of piece number 2. The strap should overlap by about 1.5 centimetres. Try and go over the lines that you've previously just sewn. This just makes it a lot neater. Then I'm going to use the edge of the foot as my guide to add it to the back of the top. Pin it with the seam of pieces 4 and 3 in the middle, and do all of this on the other side as well. Then we're going to sort out the back piece. Looking at the back panel, fold over about 1 centimetre of the fabric and then sew down this, again using the width of the foot as your guide, and repeat for the other side. Cut out 8 pieces of ribbon that are all 8 centimetres long, and it doesn't matter how wide they are. Then fold them in half and pin 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom and 2 in the middle. These are going to be your loops to add the ribbon. Then sew down using the previous line as your guide. I'm using the little groove of the foot as my guide. Grab some ribbon, mine was about 1 metre long. Thread the ribbon through the loops, just cross them over to create a nice little corset pattern. And here it is, all finished. I would love to try this in like a denim, and also you can make a strapless one, just don't add the straps. Tag me if you try this.
I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to make your own crop top.